about how to outsource and systematize your business so that you can just chill on the beach every single day and be making money without doing anything. Today on here with me, I got Brandon Becker. He's the king of outsourcing, and he actually does a lot of my outsourcing work. I got my own little mini team, about 3-4 people. He's probably got a lot more than that, but I figured I'd bring him on the call, and I'm going to share my strategies along with some of his on the best ways to outsource, because my outsources I've mostly gotten through my personal brand. It's kind of really difficult to find the right people, and I think that's the number one thing. I don't know if Brandon would agree. That makes a huge difference in getting your outsources, but I'm going to let him introduce himself because he has a YouTube channel as well, and we're going to just be talking about how you can systematize your business so that you can be able to scale it limitlessly.
So thanks, Billy, for the warm intro. What's up, guys? Brennan Becker, also known as Iconic Becker here on YouTube. Probably Billy will throw a plug right here. As Billy mentioned, I am, just like everyone else here, I'm a digital agency owner, and I've been doing digital marketing for almost 2 years now. And the biggest issue is I just got back from touring Southeast Asia. And when I was in Southeast Asia, I had so many things I had to get done whilst I was working abroad, and I just wasn't able to go out and enjoy the luxuries of traveling every day. And it was blowing my mind. I was like, there has to be a better way for me to do this. There has to be a better way for me to operate my agency. And that's when I had the opportunity, because I was already over there with people that are used to being virtual assistants, because I was in Indonesia. And so that's when I really dove into virtual assistants and outsourcing, and really started building up the seeds. And while I started with one employee, I now am close to almost 10 we have in the funnel in total. And I'm at the point now where my agency has almost been completely outsourced. I work maybe 1 to 3 hours a day at most. My team handles most of it, and I can ensure that I'm getting quality results for my clients whilst maintaining a ridiculously low employee work costs.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Amazing intro. So my main question, I assume it would be like the major question for everybody, is how did you actually find the people to do the outsourcing for you?
So a lot of people want to go to like Fiverr and Upwork, and I highly suggest you don't go to these places for 2 reasons. Fiverr, whilst it does have some areas where you can go and get like a thumbnail made or something, I'm not saying it's a terrible website. Usually you find people that are there that are from more expensive countries, places like the United States or Germany or European countries, where they're expecting higher wages. And so if they're still expecting, they're living in these more expensive countries, and they're still offering to do videos for like $5 a video, most of the time you're going to get some really poor quality video. On top of that, you're going to be getting people that are getting multiple gigs from different people at the same time. And when you have an employee, you want someone who's working just for you. And if you have someone that's taking all these different gigs, it's going to clutter their space and not allow them to focus and get the things that you need done. So that's primarily why I don't like Fiverr, and why I don't like Upwork is I believe Upwork is, again, the same thing. There's a lot of people from European countries, Russian countries, and while there's nothing wrong with that, a lot of times if I'm going to be paying, I can find the same work for cheaper if I move to more third world countries such as India or the Philippines. So I don't use Upwork or Fiverr. I use a website called onlinejobs.ph. They're a company that specializes in finding virtual assistants only from the Philippines. And I like this the best because the Philippines' primary language is English, and most people over there are very experienced in speaking English and are very comfortable as virtual assistants.
Yeah, perfect. So, and guys, I want to make something clear. When I say outsource, I don't mean what the actual definition of outsource mean. And I think too many people talk about outsourcing, and maybe I should title the video something different. But by outsourcing, I'm more so making a team, because you don't want to just outsource things of your business. You want a team of people that you can rely on, that you work with on a daily basis, because it's just a lot more effective and you feel a lot more communicated, because you can communicate the same goals. Rather, if you're just outsourcing something, that's kind of like just sending something on Fiverr one time and stuff like that, or just sending something to a completely different business. I don't really recommend that. I recommend building your own team, because you can get a lot higher profit margin, and typically the work is a lot more quality. And I think that's kind of what Brandon was talking about. You want to get these guys on your team and basically train them up. Another big thing is you also want people that speak uh, pretty much fluent English. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, but speaking fluent English is one of the most important things to look for, unless it's something that's purely graphical. But still, at the same time, even if it's graphical, there can be some issues when you got text on the graphics and stuff like that. So looking for people that can speak complete fluent English is probably one of the main things. What would be some of your major tips or problems that you had that you would give to somebody that's trying to build out a team for their business?
Okay, so and this is my most major key right here, is that when I go on and I hire employees, a lot of times now there's two different types of employees. You have freelance employees, which you only need for maybe one project, and there's also employees which you would need for multiple projects. The way I structure my agency now is that I'm training VAs to be specialized in each category. So like one VA is for chatbots, another VA is for copywriting, another VA is for graphic design. So that way, no matter what task I need, I can use them for that. Or if my agency buddies need that, I can white label it to them. But a lot of times what people do is when they're searching for VAs, they're searching for like, they just got a client and they're like, I need a VA for this, and that's it. And whilst a lot of VAs are comfortable with that, don't go up and approach the VA and say, hey, I need you for this one project, and if it works out well, maybe we can do something I'll use you again in the long run. All right. I have VAs that people have now gone and found on Facebook and messaged them directly and said, hey, I want you to work for me instead, and I'll double the pay that Brandon's paying you. And my VAs turn that down. And that's crazy to think that a third world country would turn that down. So why would they do that? Well, the reason being is that my VAs know that no matter what, I'm going to keep using them for the rest of my life. We've built up a great team. They know that I'm always going to be there for them, and that I have an amazing benefits system that I've in place within my agency. And the thing about VAs is that when they get hired, most of the time they feel like they're going to get used for like a month or 2 months, and then they're going to get dropped. And that's their number one fear. And when you create a agreement with them, and you upfront say, look, I'm going to use you, and if everything looks good, if we create that great synergy, I'm gonna work with you. I'm not gonna use you. That's a terrible thing to say. If we create that great synergy, the projects look good, I want to keep using you. I want to bring you more projects. Not, oh, it might work out, or we might do something. My main tip here is that basically, if you create the agreement in their mind that they are going to do a phenomenal job, and they keep doing phenomenal jobs, and they're going to have a place that they always can go to for work. That's the number one thing they want, and that's the number one thing they don't get. So if you can put that in their minds, they will work for you better and faster and against any and all odds, because that's how happy they are to be a part of a team.
Yep, 100%. Definitely true. And one thing I do for all my people, I don't pay them like per project or anything like that. I pay them on monthly retainers. I don't know if you do the same thing, but I always pay them like, I either pay them like a monthly or twice a week or once a week even. So they're getting that like consistent stream. And I just give them, I don't tell them like you have to work a specific amount of hours. I mean, you can do that, but I just give them a monthly retainer so they've got like that consistency. And maybe one week there's going to be a lot of work, and maybe the one week there's not going to be that much. But it's really beneficial for them because they're getting consistent stream, and that's why they won't want to leave. Another big thing that I've been able to do is I have like over $10,000 in online programs and in online courses, and I give them those courses as part of the benefits. So if they're like actually wanting, I look for people that are wanting to learn more and that are actually interested in it, because that's probably the number, like that's the way you can get the most quality people, the people that actually want to learn more, because then you're not only providing with the monetary benefit, you're giving them the benefit of being able to learn in the process too. And so I'm able to give them those tens of thousands of dollars of courses, and that's like a huge benefit in of itself. And basically they'd be willing to, I mean, I could pay them, I mean, if somebody was trying to pay them like you said, twice the amount, they still wouldn't go over, because they have such a huge benefit of working with me because of those reasons.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things I do for my VA. So like I said, I have almost 10. We have a couple in training right now. I think we have 3 guys in training. What I mean by in training is that how I believe VAs are, like, I don't go to a VA and I expect like an expert level copywriter. When I'm paying $2 to $3 an hour, I'm not gonna get, the Russell Brunson of copywriting. I'm expecting that they're not going to be that great. But what I look for is a VA that's willing to learn and grow and practice, because when they sell these courses out to us, we all get the same information, right? It doesn't matter what your financial status is or what your English reading skills are. We all get the same info, and we all process it the same way. So how I feel about it is, if I give these guys the same courses, I'm basically getting the same knowledge that someone here in the United States that would charge me like $1,000 for a project. I can go and take it over to my guys in the Philippines, and they'll charge me like $400 for the project. And
Yeah.
because I'm providing that training, I know that I'm not getting them as great from the start. But when I give them these courses and whatnot, I'm giving them the same knowledge values that I got myself. And that's a huge leg up on the competition.
Exactly. And I would definitely recommend try to go with like only people overseas in countries where the US dollar is basically worth more. Like Brandon said, India, Philippines, stuff like that, because it makes an enormous difference in your profit margins, because you can hire pretty much twice the amount of people for like still at like one half the cost it would cost you to like hire someone in the US, and typically they actually have like a harder work ethic and stuff like that too, which is kind of interesting. So if you're doing an online business, you definitely got to take advantage of that.
They do. It's when you have an American, and this isn't like a racist towards Americans, but Americans typically, like, when you give them, okay, like, I'll do a copy project, the budget's $1,000, they'll do it and they'll be like, all right, this is great, let me get a bonus on this, or they'll try to peak it up, and they'll really start pushing at the margins, and they're not really loyal. They're not really agency loyal. Like, if someone offers them something higher, most likely they're just going to switch over. But when you have guys that the US dollar means a lot to them, and you're also benefiting them, you're tipping them on their projects, you're critiquing them, you're working with them, you're growing with them, you're going to be able to create guys that are never going to leave you and watch your agency grow, and you'll be able to help them grow as well. And they'll be a lot more thankful for like a $10 raise as compared to like an American who won't be thankful for like even a $30 raise.
Yep, exactly. So let me actually show you guys. I'll ask Brandon here in a second, but I want to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to show you guys like what my setup looks like as far as how I manage my team and get them to do stuff. And let me see if I can share. No, I can probably only share one screen at a time. But Brandon, basically, I'm just going to show him my Trello real quick. And
Oh, you're good.
like how it's systemized. I think you've seen my Trello board though before, so you kind of got an idea. Actually, you're on it, so you could even pull it up on your screen if you wanted to. But so I got my teams here. And Trello is basically like this place where it's probably one of the best things that I've implemented in my business is this Trello board. And I pretty much organize my whole business on this. And I have multiple. I have like 4 main ones total. Mostly like 2 main ones and then like kind of like 2 side ones. Like this one specifically is for my video projects for one of my video editors. And this one is basically like all of the videos in my course. So you can use it for a lot of different purposes. But this one's like my personal to-do list, and it's got like all my goals on it so I can stay focused and know what things I'm working on right now. And then this one's the one for my team and for my business overall. So I put like main projects over here. I put like what our main goals for the month are so that they're on the same page as me. It's not just like they're doing one-on-one projects. They can see like the end goal as well. And so I've got each person I put all their projects under one kind of column here. And these are called cards. And basically with the cards, you can make projects, and there's so much you can do inside of them. So let me show you one, for example, like this one here. You can put like a checklist of stuff. You can put labels on them so like you can see when they're finished, when they're done, when they're like partway done. You can put a due date on them so that your team can have a due date on something so they don't procrastinate if you have that problem. You can attach Google Documents, literally everything. You can add people as members. You can even, and there's lots of other apps you can integrate. So like even one you can do is HubStaff. You can integrate to see how long they spend on each task. It goes really detailed, and you can track everything. And as you can see, I got each person like on my team under one column. And whenever I need something done, all I do is I take it, and I feel like they can do it instead of me. I pretty much just take it off my own to-do list and put it onto someone else's that would fit. And another thing you can do, and I talked about how to systemize your business as well. So I've got a lot of things here. I also put everyone's responsibilities so they know exactly what they're responsible for.
I like
But
that.
one thing you can do with these cards is, let me see if I have one as an example. It's so good. So you can systematize it so that I think I got one. I've got to have one over here somewhere. Well, I don't have one right now, but you can basically make it so that you make your card a checklist. And so, as you guys can see, I had this thing that says process for publishing YouTube videos. And I have this whole process where it's like I send the video to the video editor. The video editor is going to automatic like my only job is to send the video to the video editor, and then from there, the whole rest of the process is going to be taken care of, like the video editing, the thumbnail, the title, uploading it on YouTube. Everything else is going to be handled by my entire team automatically. So I only have to do the first step in that, and everything else will be just taken care of automatically because I have a process in place for it. And all I have to do is create a Trello card with each of these directions. Each of these steps is a check mark, and the next person just passes it on, moves the card from, like, if it's one person's job to the next one, they just move it over there. And my video pretty much just gets, all I do is I upload the videos to Google Drive and put a link to it, and then everything else is taken care of, all the way from editing to thumbnails and titles and everything, all the way to upload, and then all I do is publish it. That's how systematized you can get it. And you can do that for literally any project, whether it's I have the same system going on for Facebook ads as well. So you can see process for publishing Facebook ads. There's literally a step-by-step thing that I go to. All I do is tell them the advertising goal, and it's done automatically. The only last thing I do is just review the ads at the very end and just turn them on. Rather than then at that point, I don't have to write the ad copy. I don't have to optimize the ads or anything like that, or put in the video. None of that has to be done by me. All I do is tell them the goal, give them the links to everything, and then they just basically go ahead and do it automatically. And when you really know that you've made it is when your team starts working with each other rather than asking you all the questions. They start asking each other the questions. That's when it really starts going good.
That's when you really get that synergy, and you're like, man, I am a business master.
Yeah, exactly. That's like one of the best feelings when your people start just like working with each other instead of like going back to you for everything. That's when you really made it.
Yeah, for me it was so the main problem I was having when I was in Hong Kong was that I would go out and I would film all day, and then I'd come home and I wouldn't have like a couple hours to edit, and I was like, there has to be a better way than this. So then we created an entire, like you have a YouTube editing process where we have one guy that specifically edits the videos, another guy that thumbnail generates, and then we have like an SEO guy who we give the video to, and then he'll upload it to YouTube directly for me, and then he'll SEO out the video with the tags and the description and everything, and he'll set it all up. So it's the best thing ever when you can come home, you put the files in a folder, and then you wake up 2 days from now and boom, there it is. It's right on YouTube. It's done, and you paid almost nothing to make that happen.
Yeah, exactly. How do you organize it? So that's one thing that I'm trying to figure out is how do you organize it so they get it done like really quickly?
So all of my VAs work most of them work earlier in the day. Like they usually clock in with me around like 5 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time, which is about 5 in the morning over there. They wake up early. I didn't ask them to do that, but they just really wanted to. One thing that I noticed on your Trello board, for example, is so if I could show my Trello board, I see that you have the red labels to go ahead and tell you that like this is done, or this is not done yet, and then you use the green labels to say this is done yet. How I would do it is I would make a separate board for each guy. I know I see you have a main, like I like this main board because it shows everyone's tasks and everyone can like check in. They can see what everyone else is doing, and if they have projects that overlap, they can work together on it. But I would keep this main board as more kind of just like an overview, and then I would have individual boards, which has each card stack is a part of the process, right? So on the YouTube side of my boards, I have basically I say incoming, which is where I make a card that has the project title, and you'll see a card and it will say the YouTube video and have the Google Drive account with all of the files. Then after that, the next tab will be editing, which means my editor has now moved it from incoming to editing. Once it's done, the editor moves it to the graphic design panel, which now the graphic the graphic design guy can come in and check that out, and he sees, okay, it looks good. He makes the thumbnail, attaches it to the drive file, and then he drags that card over to the finished awaiting upload stack, which is then taken by the SEO guy and brings it up. So we have editing, or incoming, editing, graphic design, and done. So we have 4 panels or 5 panels total,
Can you
and
share your screen? I don't think I can see it.
I can't pull it to you right now because I'm on my phone. And I can't share the
Okay.
screen on the phone. But I'll take a picture and post it so maybe the guys here can get a better idea. But basically, we have one card that goes through each part of each different stack, and I have a time tracking software that lets me know that, okay, editing was done at 10 o'clock. Dale is now working on graphic design at 11, and then it will let me know each step of the way. And that's the way that I like to make it flow, because you can see the progress with each task instead of just using a label to say done or not done. You can actually see what part of the project is being worked on.
Okay, so you make each person have their own board,
Yeah.
and you put what for each column?
So I would say, so again, for like the YouTube, so we have the YouTube growth agency where we grow out people's YouTubes and we do it automatically. We have an incoming stack, and so that's where a card will be made, and that card will represent one project, one video that has to be uploaded, and that will have the first drive files and everything together, the raw footage. Then it's from when I put it in that stack, my editor is now updated and it says, hey, Brandon just went ahead and put a card in the incoming stack. It's time to edit it. He'll move the card from the incoming stack to the editing stack, and then he'll get started on it. And it will let me know Dale has just gone ahead and started editing this project. And then once he's done with it, he'll move that same card to the graphic design stack, where it will say, okay, great. Now we have Ibu, who's working on the graphic design section. And then it will go ahead and move one more time over to the SEO side. And each step of the way, I'm getting notified. So I get a notification on my phone that says project has now been done. Now they're working on graphic design. Now it's being uploaded, and now it's done.
Got you. So the one thing that is a little bit confusing for me is you said the board is for each person, but would there be multiple people on the board, or would they move it to another person's board, or how would it work?
I kind of misphrased that. I use each board for a different section. Come here, you.
So each board for like a different task, like one is YouTube videos or something like that.
Yeah, one is YouTube videos, another one's for like copywriting or like a Facebook project. So you have this main board here, which is great because it shows everyone's different tasks and things that they have to get done, which is good because there should always be that. Everyone should always see what everyone else is doing, and if someone else is on their project, they should see who they're working on it with. But I would also have individual boards for each section. So if you have like a Facebook ads section, you would have incoming, and you would say all your details that you want done for this project. Then you would have like the graphic designer section. So they're designing you'd have a graphic designer stack. And then after that, you would have like the Facebook copy stack. And then you would have the final stack be like the Facebook ads publisher. So each person can see that, okay, the graphic designs team got the picture for the ad done. Okay, great. The copy team got the copy for the ad done. And now the ads publisher can come in and be like, all right, I've got all the resources. It's time for me to finish the job. And it creates more of a sideways process that they can look at instead of just a done or undone, like you have here.
Got you. Yeah, what I've kind of done though to counteract that is I put a checklist on the boards instead. So as you can see, kind of like on this one, there's like each step, but my ones that are more complicated, they'll have more checklist steps, and it'll say like, all right, when this is done, like notify this person to do the next step, and then they'll click on it to do the check mark.
Yeah, and I mean you can have it. There's not one solid way to do it. It's all to teach your own preference. That's just the way I've done it. I found it to be most effective. We tried a lot of different ways because we manage a lot of people's YouTube videos now. And we found that like where I had it, where notifying each person was just kind of like either if the editor forgets to do it, or maybe something happens with his messenger where the message doesn't send, then now there's a bottleneck in our flow, and we don't want that to happen. So I just have it where everything's automated. Basically, all they have to do is come in, they see a card in their stack, they get that card done, and they move it to the next stack, and they await further instructions until another card comes into their stack.
Got you. Awesome. Really appreciate you taking the time for this call.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on, Billy. It's always an honor.
All right, awesome. That's pretty much going to cover everything. If you guys have any other questions, you can just comment them down below. I will link Brandon's YouTube channel in the description so you can check out some of his videos and see what it actually looks like when these video editors do everything for him. But with that said, is there anything else that you wanted to add, Brandon?
Um, Unlike that, I don't think so. Again, guys, taking on a VA and outsourcing your agency is not an easy task, and it's a lot more difficult than just going on and posting a job and getting on an on-worker. I'm posting a lot more resources about how to automate your agency to take it from working, a 20 to 30 hour, $15,000 a month agency to only working, again, a 4-hour work week, kind of similar to how I do. And that's more of what my channel is about. So while Billy's channel's got all kinds of amazing resources for Facebook ads and expanding your agency, I'm going to be focusing more on agency automation. So if you guys are more interested in that, I'm sure Billy will put the link somewhere awesome here. And make sure to stay subscribed to Billy's channel. He's got all kinds of cool stuff, and he's almost better than me at Fortnite.
Awesome. Thank you. And one last thing I wanted to mention. One thing that helps a lot when you're training people, or even if you're not ready to hire someone yet, maybe you don't have quite enough income coming in yet. One thing you can do is record the videos of everything that you do, and that's what is really nice for me. The fact that I have a training program for how to do what I do is extremely helpful, because I just give them that, and I can just give them the videos, rather than if you hire someone new, then you have to retrain them completely from scratch. But if you just have a series of videos that you give them instead, it doesn't matter. Like if somebody leaves, that's not going to be a problem, because you can just give another new person the videos that you've already got made.
Yeah, that's sweet.
So any daily task that you do, let's say you make a Facebook ad for a client, you record what it's like, what exactly you do when you make a new Facebook ad for your client, and you tell them all the little details, and maybe it's like a 30-minute, hour-long video that shows them step by step how you do it. Then all you have to do is just give that to them, and they can pretty much follow it step by step, do the same exact step that you did.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thanks for getting on, Brandon. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Go out and kill it.